Go figure, Florida, it's raining, and we're gonna do a quick drive review of the Volvo V60 cross country. Every time I try to do a walk around, it starts raining on me. So we're just gonna do a quick driving impressions review today on this beautiful wagon from Volvo that's hopped up a little bit compared to the V60 Polestar Tune that I drove last year. And at the end, stay to the end, because I'm going to compare this to another Toyota, or sorry, another wagon that happens to be a Toyota, which is the Crown Signia, which has just entered into the North American market. I'm going to compare and contrast how this stacks up to that vehicle. So stay to the end if you're interested in the battle of the wagons. But let's get right into the driving impressions of the V60 cross country. We got caught in the rain in the cross country, but you know what? That's what it should be designed for. You should be able to take this cross country, be able to handle snow, rain, sleet, whatever you throw at this bad boy. The ride quality in here is complete opposite of the V60 Polestar plug-in hybrid. This thing floats around like a traditional luxury vehicle. It handles fairly well in the turns, better than you would expect. But this thing is all about ride quality. This thing just is, you're on a cloud. It is absolutely fantastic. The Polestar Tune version of this is slammed. You have huge wheels on it. You have much tighter, I think it might be Owen suspension on that. It's very, very performance focused. Now this is about 10 grand less. I would be spending the extra 10 grand if I'm already spending over 60 grand on this. I would be spending the extra 10 grand more and getting that plug-in hybrid. It's more usable, it looks better, but it all depends on what your needs are. If you don't care about going fast, or you don't ever care about looking like a frickin' rocket wagon, that's fine. Man, this is heavy rain. I don't believe I have rain sensing wipers in here, which is kind of a big miss for a luxury vehicle. The Bowers & Wilkins in here is still top-notch sound system. It's like a $3,000+ upgrade to get it over the Harman Kardon. It is worth every penny. It is unbelievable how good this sound system is. The bass is unreal, and the bass, I would say, is unmatched for the most part in terms of sound fidelity, and maybe even pure on, like, it shakes the whole car and it still sounds good. This is a hard system to beat, this Bowers & Wilkins. I want to say it's about 1400 watts. It's fantastic. The mids and highs are also super crisp and clear. That is worth the price of admission. However, you can only get it on this Ultra trim, and this Ultra trim is obviously the more expensive over the Plus trim, which is the base trim for this model. And unfortunately, the Plus trim has the same power output as this Ultra trim, and the Ultra cannot get the plug-in hybrid powertrain, unlike the traditional, low slung wagon V60 version of this. Visibility in here is quite good, even though if you see it from the side, the windows look pretty short, but the windows are long. I like the panel roof, which is standard across the lineup. This vehicle is very comfortable as well, and check this out, playing with the seat controls. I have thigh extension, I have lumbar customization, I have bolster customization here. It's fantastic. I only wish maybe it had massaging seat function, but sometimes you can't have everything. The brakes in here, well, I'm not gonna be able to test them too much. It's raining, but I'll tell you my experience over the past few days with this model. The brakes are way too soft and wishy-washy to me. They're not nearly as crisp as the Polestar Tune version of this, so that's kind of a bummer. I don't like the brakes in here. In fact, you have quite a bit of nosedive too when you get heavy into the brakes because the suspension is so soft. But yeah, I'm sure not everyone's gonna dislike the brakes as much as I do. Now on paper, this has what, 247 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque, somewhere in there. All-wheel drive standard. I'm telling you, it feels like it has more shove. So I'm just gonna do pedal down. It sounds really good. The gear shifts are really buttery smooth, just like they are on the plug-in hybrid variant of this. Ultra grade, we have the crystal shifter. I mean, the interior in here with the wood is fantastic. I would have preferred, you know, the lighter seats in here, but there are, I think, 5 different options for interior on this Ultra grade, which that's great. I'm always wanting more customization out of this center screen here from Volvos. It's not this car's fault, it's every Volvo has just, you either have the map up here or you don't have the map. And then if you pull up your metrics, there's just not a lot of customization for the metrics. So we're gonna get going here. Just a missile through the rain right now. We'll turn on the high wipers. Fuel economy, I'm seeing at best 30 miles per gallon if I'm taking it easy, and at worst maybe about 25 miles per gallon if I'm ringing it out a little bit more in town. Highway is probably going to be around 30 miles per gallon, maybe even better. With this 8-speed automatic transmission, it has enough gearing to be able to put it into overdrive on the highway and get some good fuel economy. I've put about 50 miles on it in the past few days, and it still says I have 420 miles of range. That's pretty good for a non-hybrid. I know Volvo classifies this as a mild hybrid, but honestly, it doesn't do much. It makes maybe the engine turning on and off a little bit smoother, but I'm always running the AC in here. And well, maybe I don't have to run it that much right now because of this rainstorm cools things off. But the engine's never turning off. I've seen it turn off maybe once or twice over the last 50 miles with AC on. And speaking of AC, it is loud. 1 fan speed in here is loud, and it doesn't feel like it's moving hardly any air. You go up to 3 fan speeds, it doesn't get much louder, and it's still not pushing that much air. So I don't know what the deal is with this AC system. It just feels like it's not pushing that much air unless you're up into 5 or 6, and now it's pushing a lot of air. But like 1 through 3 really don't feel like they're doing much in this car. Ventilated seats work okay. When it's hot out, I don't even notice them, but when it's cold out, I do notice them. So they're just not as good at cooling at higher temperatures, it seems like. But I do have a heated steering wheel, which works great, and heated seats as well. 360 camera is great in here, but if you want your backup camera to work at the same time, Volvo doesn't give you that option. They say, hey, backup camera, that's all you get. You don't get the 360 camera on top of it. It's either or, which is a bit frustrating when you have this sort of technology in the modern era. Also, another frustration, I have a Google phone. There's no Google built in here, or should I say, yes, there is Google built in because it's running Google Maps, but there's no Android Auto, I should say. I can't wire in my phone. I can't wirelessly connect my phone through Google. I can Android Auto, my goodness. So at least I have Google Maps here, but you're gonna have to pay subscription fee when this runs out. And then you're not going to have the option of Android Auto in here, which drives me crazy with these models. Also, something that this model doesn't have, which I really enjoy on the plug-in hybrid, it doesn't have that no creep function where you have at low speeds kind of this one pedal driving that is super intuitive and really convenient for situations like this, kind of like heavy traffic or stop and go situations. This, all I got is auto brake hold, which they at least give me a dedicated button for, but I don't have that one pedal driving ooey gooiness that I really enjoy on the plug-in hybrids. The price of admission here is not cheap. It starts at $50K for the Plus. This is just over $60K with this Bowers & Wilkins on the Plus trim. I really wish you could get the Bowers & Wilkins on the entry-level Plus model, because this is that's probably the highlight, other than this general styling for me in this Volvo, is this Bowers & Wilkins sound system. Of course, I like the overall minimalism in here. It is getting a bit dated with all the glossy bits, and I love this, there we go. The accordion stuff here is really nice touch. I want Volvo to keep that. I want the wood touches to stick around. I just want this to be updated. It looks a little bit outdated right now. I want more customization in the car. And I forgot to mention the head-up display in here, which is on the Plus trim. It's okay. It's fine. All right. I don't feel like it's necessary to have it in this car. But I'm going to end it there. Volvo, I'm glad you're still making these and bringing these into America. I wish the plug-in hybrid was available in this cross country, because that powertrain is just, it's really hard to beat in today's climate. It's a fantastic vehicle if you want to stand out, if you want that wagon greatness, because it's just really hard to find a good wagon nowadays, at least in America, and Volvo fills that niche. I would be picking the slammed version of this, paying a little bit more, but I also wish Volvo offered that V60 non-cross country with this powertrain for around $45K. That would be amazing, but instead you have to pay $70K for the plug-in hybrid. So you're just really limited with your options here with powertrains on the V60 lineup for Volvo in America. But it's a really fantastic overall vehicle. The vents, now that's not rating, the vents are so loud even at medium fan speed. And yeah, this brake pedal is just a little not as crisp as I want it to be, but hey, you know, I don't think V60 cross-country buyers care too much about brake feel. All right, so how would I compare this to another wagon that just came out? Even though Toyota doesn't call it a wagon here in the United States, it's called the Crown Signia. It's called the Crown Estate in other markets, which means wagon. How would I compare this vehicle to that? Well, let's start with the powertrain. Toyota's standard hybrid, all-wheel drive standard, just like this. Well, this isn't standard hybrid, it's mild hybrid. This powertrain is more peppy. It's quicker, seemingly. It's quieter, it's less drony. It sounds better, if that matters to you. Toyota's hybrids can be very smooth. They get a bit drony when you push them or you have to go uphill. And that's especially the case in the 4th generation hybrid system in the Signia. Signia is going to get you way better fuel economy, probably around 40. This tops off around 30, best case scenario, I would say. So it really just depends. If you prefer fuel economy, the Toyota. If you prefer power and acceleration and traditional gearing, because this has an 8-speed auto, the Volvo. They just have the pros and cons. I wouldn't say one's better than the other. Sound system, this wins, but it's more expensive too. Materials, I would say it's close. I would say this one just edges out the Toyota in terms of materials, and it should. In terms of ride quality, this is way better than the Crown Signia. Way better. In terms of handling, I would say they're about the same. The brake pedal actually feels better on the Crown, which is weird because Toyota's hybrid pedals or brake pedals are typically hit or miss. The styling, ooh, that's very subjective. I think I like the styling on the Crown Signia better than this, but I'll see you guys down below. What else? I think overall the technology with the screens anyways is better with the Toyota, just slightly. And you know, in terms of cargo space, and it's probably a coin flip. So yes, this is a nicer vehicle than the Crown Signia, especially when it comes to NVH. But is it worth 10 grand more? That's up to you to decide. I probably would be going with the Crown Signia. I just prefer Toyota's hybrids a little bit more, especially if it's not a performance car. But this came, if I'm comparing the V60 Polestar tuned with the plug-in hybrid over Toyota's hybrid, I'd be picking the Volvo. But again, that's just a completely different performance and price category. So this cross-country lines up really nicely with Toyota's hybrid, or should I say in comparison to Toyota's hybrid. And I don't know. It's whatever you think you can get the best deal on. I think the Toyota is a better deal, better buy, better looking vehicle. This one's just a little bit more polished overall from a luxury standpoint. Ooh, there's a rainbow. We're finishing the video with a rainbow. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more Volvo videos.